How would you describe the biggest difference between what Dfinity is doing and Internet Computer's approach to smart contracts and blockchain tech versus Ethereum and Binance Chain and Polygon, what people are right now mostly using?
Yeah, there are some pretty hefty differences. The experience that you're going to have is going to be pretty familiar. We have nicely formatted APIs. And are very friendly to JavaScript if that's the language that you like to approach Ethereum from. The tech is different in a couple key ways. The first one I would point to is that with the blockchain technology that we use on the Internet Computer, we're not distributing the entire ledger to every single node. Instead, we have what we call canisters, which represent a series of nodes that are able to communicate with what we have developed in-house as chain key technology, which allows us to have a limited amount of replication, which enables us to have web speed interactions with the blockchain. So you can create an update and write it within a couple seconds most of the time and get queries on the blockchain that were, a couple millisecond response. And you can have a high level of confidence in those interactions, which enables us to do crazy things like running an entire website directly on the blockchain.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. And when we're looking at the node ecosystem, as far as I know, you need to have special hardware, correct? How does that work? And why can't I just download and run my own node?
Yeah. So there is the possibility that in future iterations that we'll be able to go for that. The biggest reason that we haven't yet is, one, there's a backlog of institutional third-party data centers who we're working through and getting them set up with their hardware. The second is that right now we're focusing on the general availability subnets and getting that up to the largest amount of capacity, and speed and performance are going to be the really biggest selling points. And with something like a distributed technology like this, the slowest node in the entire ecosystem determines how fast your total performance is. So we're really working with specialized hardware that's basically your canister is held in RAM that is able to persist state even if it loses power. So it's a newer technology. It's not generally available as consumer hardware.
Interesting.
And we're doing like terabytes of this kind of RAM.
Interesting. Well, as far as I know, the difference between RAM and normal SSD for persistent storage is that RAM has more expensive material. I don't exactly know which kind of physical material it is, but RAM is like super expensive. But you've basically created persistent storage with the same material that normally you do RAM with. Would that be correct?
Yeah, and I think that this tech is going to be growing in a pretty big way. So we'll be seeing more of it for the consumer market. But basically the point is that we're starting with specialized hardware so that we can at least bootstrap the network and build up capacity in a way that people are going to be happy with. This is about really the user experience at the end of the day. We could grow through consumer hardware subnets, and that might be a thing that we're going to explore, but it's not like the top priority.
Got it. And so on Ethereum, you program your smart contracts in Solidity is basically that you add software to the blockchain, you add software to all of the different nodes, and then you can execute that software through transactions. And on Dfinity, on Internet Computer, as far as I know, you have your own programming language, and the idea is the same, that you can publish these blockchain applications that you call through transactions. Is that correct?
Well, the canisters themselves run and execute WASM, or WebAssembly. So any language that is statically typed can theoretically be transpiled into WebAssembly. We've got like a little bit of configuration that it'll take, but apart from that, like we've already got working C, Rust. I've seen a proof of concept for assembly script, and there are other canister development kits that people are working on. And we do a lot of work in Rust and are big fans of Rust programming at Dfinity.